Michael Kroells, Minnesota Storm, Youssif Hemida Terrapin Wrestling Club. They'll be going to their second match. Tech fall by Michael Kroells in the first one, 10-0. Kroells 23 years old, Hemida 20 years old. For Kerry McCoy in the terms, there you see Michael Kroells.
Now wearing the red singlet of the Minnesota Storm at 125 kilograms.
Kroells, three-time All-American, the 26th in Gopher history to become a three-time All-American. Two-time state champion out of Scott West High School in Belle Plaine, Minnesota, where he was a 4.0. And in the band.
And majors in aerospace engineering.
Yes.
Now, technically, it's not Scott. I'm gonna make do for my gaffe from Greco. Scott West is actually not a high school. Scott West is a co-op in Minnesota. You have schools that'll pull together because they don't have enough bodies to form full sports teams in certain events. So Scott West is actually, as Youssif Hemida just drives right through Kroells for one. Scott West is a co-op between Belle Plaine High School and Jordan High School in Scott County, Minnesota, just south of the city. So Scott West is what they come together to form. Kroells is from Belle Plaine, actually attended Belle Plaine High School. They come together for Scott West for athletics. Names you might recognize from Scott West: Nick Slack, Division III national champion from Augsburg.
Okay.
Pat McNamara.
Wrestled at Michigan State.
Yep. Kroells 2-1. Oh, goes takedown
as a lace.
Yep. Youssif Hemida, fun kid. I used to have him on the show back when we had the Maryland Matt Chat on the Matt Talk Podcast Network. Mama Roanoke, New York, just outside of the cities, which is anything outside of the cities is considered upstate out there. But working with my second favorite heavyweight of all time, Kerry McCoy. You want a big man coach, you're gonna wrestle for Kerry McCoy. Came on at the end of the season last year.
Yeah, 2011 regular season. Talking to Coach McCoy before these championship finals. Going to be a young team at Maryland.
And there's a step out for Kroells.
One more adds to his lead, now 5-1.
Jimmy Sheptock in the corner, also with Coach McCoy.
Who do we got for Kroells? Zach Sanders.
Looks like Dustin Schlater. They've been there all week. Shout out to Zach's brother Eric, who is recently married and just moved back to the area, just up the road. I believe it's Pine Island. So a couple five-timers from Wabasha Kellogg High School.
There you see Zach Sanders, farthest to your left, right there in the middle. Dustin Schlater. .120 here in the first. Hemida single leg, and he scores the takedown. Pulls to within 2, 5-3. Well executed from Hemida. That was critical there too. Could have easily gotten the one, but in that situation, you got to find a way to capitalize on that opportunity and score the two. You see Jimmy Sheptock and Kerry McCoy. Maryland will be wrestling Rutgers early November at Yankee Stadium. That is a home match for Rutgers. That'll be the debut of new Scarlet Knight, Nick Suriano, at 125 pounds. Half a minute showing in this first period. Shot there from Kroells.
Pretty active heavyweights here, Shane.
Kroells, plenty of real estate to work with here. Just 10 seconds, though.
And there's the step out. One for Kroells.
Gets his one to make it 6-3.
So here's a little story. For the last couple years, after the NCAA Wrestling Championships, I'd always end up running into some people at the end of the night, and we talk in wrestling. And usually it always ends up, hey, do you want to go get something to eat? and it's become almost a tradition where, well, usually it's a senior, he's done, and you know, it's like, okay, you know, one year it was some guys from Lock Haven, I bought him a pizza. We were just talking wrestling there in Oklahoma City.
You are a big spender. You always have been.
Well, not really. It's just the thing. But well, this year at the end of the night, you know, Kroells and Brett Farr are going to go to IHOP, and I was like, hey, let's you know, I'll go with. I end up, you know, they're seniors, not have to worry about extra benefits to athletes.
Sure.
I bought them breakfast, you know, and got to know the guys.
You're a good man, JB.
So it's probably 4 or 5 years in a row I've ended up buying like late night dinner for a senior who has just finished their career and just talk wrestling with him. So Kroells, I learned a lot about this. He really impressed me as a human being. It's like I see Minnesota in the morning, and I'm like, dude, Michael Kroells is an amazing human being. And they're like, yeah, he is. So
getting it done on the mat, off the mat, and at the end of the day, that aerospace engineering degree, that's what'll pay the bills. That's what puts you in the big house, on the big side of town, as Ric Flair would say. 7-3, Kroells up by 4.
Jet flying, limousine riding.
Woo! Diamond ring wearing.
Kiss stealing.
Having a hard time holding these alligators down. Woo! Going to be a 30 for 30 on ESPN with Flair. Can't wait.
You know, he's from Minnesota.
Can't wait.
He actually did
Slick
wrestle.
Rick.
He actually did wrestle some in high school in Minnesota.
Friend of mine, Larry Marchionda, one of the founders of LDR Headgear, one of our sponsors for this broadcast. Leader Headgear, check them out. Protect what's between your ears, LDR Headgear. But he used to take a bunch of kids on tours to Japan, an exchange program, and Ric Flair's son was part of that. I think Rick might have made a trip. I've seen a couple of pictures that Rick is in.
Hemida with the action there on the push out, but
7-4. He's got a minute and a half to work with, does Hemida.
Larry Marchionda, good guy, good guy.
Great guy. Legendary coach out of Fond du Lac High School in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin.
Isn't he like technically a volunteer assistant, like emeritus, or like as you know?
He's done a lot of
Oshkosh. Like,
exactly. EW Oshkosh, big part of that program. Larry Marchionda will help anything he can that has to do with wrestling. Great guy.
Minute to go. Kroells 7-4 lead. Aerospace engineering. It's one of those that pay it
I believe
forward.
that's the same degree as Kuhn. Exactly.
They're going to be astronauts together or something. They're gonna break the weight limit between the two of them. Hemida,
You better have some extra engines to get that thing off the ground.
Sir, we're going to have to. Nice. Oh, it was very close to throwing that by.
40 seconds. Another shot there by Hemida, but right in to the hands of Kroells.
Houston, where's the pizza? I don't think either of these two favor astronaut ice cream either. Remember eating that crap in high school, or in elementary school rather. Hemida on the shot.
On the shoot tops. Works his way back up.
Gotta have your laces up there, Sparky.
Laces up.
Hips low, your elbows in, your hips up. Go ahead and win the match.
Kroells will tack on 2 more to put a cherry on top of this one. 9-4 final. In 2 straight matches, your winner of the U23 World Team Trials at 125 kilos, Michael Kroells, Minnesota Storm. He'll represent the USA in Poland.